Jefferson Forest had a great year, advancing all the way to the state Final 8, and they come up one run short to Abingdon. Before the Cavaliers went to play Abingdon, I talked to Joanna Hardin. She's the head coach of the Jefferson Forest Cavaliers. She joined me on the Sports Buffet podcast. She said what she liked about her team so far and headed into the Abingdon game what she liked. The Cavaliers entered the Seminole District tournament as the 5th seed. The Region 3 tournament has the 4th seed, made it all the way to the state tournament. Congratulations to Coach Hardin and squad. Here were her thoughts before the Abingdon game on the Sports Buffet podcast.
Always love to have first-timers on the Sports Buffet podcast. Joanna Hardin, the head coach of the Jefferson Forest Cavaliers softball team, one of 4 Cavaliers teams facing off in state quarterfinal action on Tuesday, but she's got to go a longer ways than everybody else, all the way down into Southwest Virginia. Coach, I think a lot of people, though, if they were betting Monopoly money or whatever, probably wouldn't have thought you guys would have been here, having coming into the Seminole District tournament as the 5th seed. Tell me what's going well for you guys right now.
You know, we have always been a good team. We've been a great team this whole season. We just haven't been able to put everything together. And our kids have been working hard every day, all day, and every practice. And we were one hit short here, one mental mistake short there. We had so many one-run and two-run losses in our district. And we put it all together at the right time. And a lot of times when it comes to sports, it's getting hot at the right time. And we have great team chemistry. And I think that just put us over when we got to the district tournament. And beating Liberty in that first game 2-1, that really fired us up. And I think the girls started really believing in all the work and everything that they've done. And it's just been awesome since then.
You're in your second year as the head coach of the Cavs. Have you kind of got your style and everything implemented, or do you feel there's more building yet to do?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm very different than any of the coaches over there before, and so the girls had to make a lot of adjustments to my style, and I think that they've done a really great job, and at this point continuing to build, but the foundation has been laid, and that's because I have awesome kids that really bought into the system, and they work really, really hard, and we have everything from practice uniforms to you name it. A lot of changes that have come in the last 2 years, but now we're starting to build on the foundation that's been set, and it's been really exciting. It's been a great experience for me.
Kind of share your style a little bit. I'm not asking you, to rip the previous administrations, but what makes it different now that you're there as opposed to what you'd heard in the years past?
Sure. Well, for me, I guess I'm from Southern California, and all of my coaches in college, at least the one that I mimic the most, I guess, really old school, very much about discipline at practice, hustling on and off all the time. I like practice uniforms. I like to start on time, even early. Time is a really big deal for me, and my kids know that. They're never late, and if they're late, they're communicating with me. Big on communication, and I just like things done a certain way. Something as simple as we don't run across the chalk line on a game day. We pick up all the trash in the dugout after every single game. We really respect the field, and the kids work on the field, and they do the field work themselves. And I think when you ask your players to be involved in stuff like that, they really begin to take ownership of that. We've done a lot of stuff in the press box and in their locker room, and putting pictures up and kind of making it all about them, and therefore they're taking a lot of ownership from that. And I'm a tough coach to play for, and I push them really, really hard. I have very high expectations of my players, but I think they all, for the most part, rise to that, and they see that the hard work really does pay them back. And I think this group is really reaping the benefits of that. So that's a little bit of my style.
What made Jefferson Forest appealing as a job?
Well, obviously Jefferson Forest has had a tradition of success, and so I coached at Liberty University for 2 years, and then I took a year off, and I was coaching travel ball, and I love coaching. I love coaching. I love being on the field with the kids and being out there. It's the second best thing to playing, for sure. So the job actually came open, and I met with the AD to an interview, and she's awesome, and she's so supportive. I think that's a huge appeal is the support of the administration and the athletics director. I tell people I work for the best boss, and she's awesome, and she's a guide and she's a help, and I know that I have that support. So that on top of, it's very competitive, and we went through some bumps and got some bruises last year, but this is the caliber and the character of these kids is top notch, and and I love red and black too. That doesn't mean that much, but I like it in red and black, so that plays a part. That doesn't play too much into it, but definitely the support system of the administration that was there was huge in my decision.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would find, it would be hard to find somebody more supportive of their school than Nancy Claudio. I totally agree with you on that. Let me throw another question out here to you. I think this is the first year, I believe, that the Virginia High School League kind of went to, you could do stuff year-round if you wanted to. How much did that help you guys in terms of, you're a young coach, you want to get things done, and you don't just have the spring to work on it. If you want to do stuff in the fall and winter, you could do that too.
Sure. Well, actually, it's interesting. The football team uses our outfield for practice, and so we actually don't have access to our field during the fall because the football team is practicing out there. So we had to be very creative with what we could do, and I was in a building, I had a hitting facility down in Forest, and so we would hit a couple times a week, and that was really beneficial because, especially when it comes to hitting and pitching, it's mechanical and it's mental, and the mechanical side of it, it's reps over and over and over again, so we were able to hit a lot more in the off season and in the out of season, and we played in the fall ball league in the fall, and that was pretty good just for me to get around the girls and be able to see them a lot more. I'm not in the building. I'm an outside coach, so I don't get to see and interact with them as much. So that really helped just for them to see me on the field and to be around, and it really did benefit us, but not probably as much as the other teams because we don't have access to our field in the fall.
Do you feel that not being in the building made your job much more challenging, or the fact of, to me, it would almost be harder for a guy not in the building to bond with the opposite sex, to where, you might be able to bond a little bit quicker just because of, you got a lot more in common with the girls than, a guy would.
Definitely, yeah. I think having played the game for a long time and being a female, it definitely helps. I remember being in high school. I remember being in college. I remember the emotions. I remember struggling at the plate and having a slump and really just needing somebody to come to me and say, hey, I have confidence in you, I have faith in you. And I remember being called out by teammates and trainers and coaches when I needed to be called out as well. And so I think just having played really does benefit, and having that emotional connection is definitely different. And being outside of the building has been tough, especially at the beginning, because I only see them on the field. I don't have a classroom that kids can come to and see me during the day. And but my assistant coach this year actually is in the building, and so that has been great for him to really connect with girls. And they play jokes on him all the time, and they love just going into his classroom, and it does really help. But I think being in my second year, and I only had one senior last year, so pretty much everybody that I have on the team this year was here last year. So having that second year has really helped us be cohesive and really bond as a group. Sure.
If things are going good for you guys, whose names are being called a lot for your team?
Alexis Brown has been huge. She has really been the most consistent player up in the circle. She's at this point it's probably close to maybe under one, right around one for the season, and she's been extremely consistent. She only had one game where she got hit pretty hard, and she only gave up 4 runs in 7 innings, 4 earned runs in 7 innings, and she's really been the glue that has held us together on the field and as playing wise. And she's a great leader, awesome kid. She's extremely intelligent. She's in governor's school. She's going to go to med school, and it's really a pleasure to coach a kid that is very well rounded and emotionally in control. She's a great teammate. She never pointed her fingers at her teammates when they weren't given a run support, and she's phenomenal. And so she's probably been the standout for our team this year. And as a reminder, we've got a great senior class. I've got Reagan Morris at shortstop and Haley Pinchbeck in center field and Nina Glennon at first base. And those three have really been great leaders, and they've come up clutch, and especially the past 2 weeks, those three have been extremely clutch for us. And we had a team meeting probably about a month ago, and those three really stepped up and started holding people accountable and taking ownership of the season and realizing that this could be their last, today could be their last game, and they just didn't want to stop playing, and they've been awesome leaders for us on the field.
You talk about the win against Liberty in the Seminole District tournament, and then, the first win in the region tournament came against Rockbridge County. I'm a believer in, when you're in a tournament, that first win is the most important one because momentum, catapult, things like that in terms of your confidence. Talk about what that Liberty win and what that Rockbridge win did in terms of helping you down the road in the Seminole and the region tournament.
Sure. Well, we had no secrets. Our district was pretty tough. Our season, we were 4-8 going into the district, and we made a decision after our last game against Rockburg that week before the Seminole District tournament that it was a new season, and our season was over. It didn't matter, and now it's the postseason, and we don't have to carry anything from the past into the future. And so beating Liberty was huge for us, A, in that it got us some momentum going into the rest of the tournament, but B, that was the first time that JF has beat Cassidy since she's been at Liberty. And she's kind of had, she's a great pitcher and a great player, but she's definitely had a mental edge over our team. And so beating her, for us mentally, really allowed us to really believe that we are that team, that we are the team that we thought we were, and that was a huge barrier for us, and it did. It just carried over. When the girls knew we were playing Brookville in that second game, they were excited. They were so pumped, and then we had Rustburg the next game, and we kind of felt like we owed everybody a little bit, and it was awesome. And beating Rockbridge, first of all, hosting that first round was huge. These kids love playing at home. They love being on their home field. And that was huge for us. And scoring that first run in the third inning against Rockbridge, it kind of settled us down a little bit and got us got our feet grounded. And it just carried us through that next tournament. And the two tournaments are so drastic. The first one, you're playing teams that you've already played and you pretty much know everybody on the team. And this last tournament, we were playing teams that we didn't know anything really much about. We'd seen them play a little bit that week, but it was our girls were able to really just carry that momentum through the week, and they just believe in themselves. We're so confident right now, and we're not satisfied just being where we are. We're ready to. We want to be playing on Saturday. That's our goal. So that's when we had that momentum going in, and so tomorrow's huge. Tomorrow's a big game for us. So I'm excited about it.
How helpful too do you think it was having the region tournament on a field you knew in Rustburg?
Huge. I think that we were so comfortable there, and even in that championship game, we asked. We were the home team because we were the high seed, and we asked to stay in that third base dugout. Rustburg's first base dugout is their quote-unquote home dugout, but we wanted to stay on that third base side because it was comfortable. We were comfortable to have a little bit of a slope that goes down to the outfield fence, and so we were confident with that. We were comfortable there.
Is the word comfortable or superstitious?
A little bit of both. Probably a little superstitious, yes, but. Some of these kids, my seniors have played 8, 9, 10 games there, and it just makes a big difference. And plus, you have a lot more fan support because we're a lot closer to our home field, and it made a big difference, I think, for us. And I think if we're playing somewhere else that we lose those games? No, I think we played great, but I definitely think mentally it helped us settle in a lot quicker, being on a field that we were familiar with.
Believe me, I mean, if people aren't superstitious before, once they get hot in a postseason tournament, it seems like they get a lot more.
Absolutely. I was the same. We've kept our routine exactly the same, and I've eaten the same things and, done a lot of the same things just to keep it rolling. So, absolutely, I understand that.
It's a long, long, long ride to Abingdon. Give me what you want your girl. I mean, I think obviously you want your girls focused on the game, but unrealistic to expect a bus ride to be quiet for 5 hours, especially with girls. Tell me how you want the mindset of the team going just down to Abingdon.
Sure. Well, our mantra the last 2 weeks has really been to play loose and have fun. We went into this whole postseason with this mentality that we have nothing to lose. We really have nothing to lose, and so I don't really want the girls to be loose. I want them to be relaxed, and I want them to have fun. And usually what we'll do when we have a long drive like that, when any team I'm coaching, we'll kind of let them run wild and be free for the first couple hours, and that last hour we'll kind of calm down and quiet down and start to get focused. And but it's going to be a really relaxed environment. I mean, to be honest, they'll probably be taking some naps and staying really relaxed and have their iPods going and stuff. But it is tough to stay focused on a 3-hour drive. But about that hour mark is when we'll kind of start thinking about the game. We're going to get there really early. We're going to eat together. We're going to go through our pregame routine the way we've done it every day for the past 3 months, and do as close to what we've done as possible, being 3.5 hours away. But we really feel like we have nothing to lose, and we're going out there and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to play hard. We absolutely want to play on Saturday, and but we really we're excited to play hard and to compete, and it's just. And that's going to be our mindset, is to go out there and have fun and just leave our guts on the field. And if we can leave our heart and soul and our guts on the field, whatever the results are, we'll be happy with that. But we don't want to leave any regrets out there tomorrow night.
I've never heard anybody say, gosh, I hate playing at home. But I've also heard people say, that the road can be good in terms of, just it can get a little bit more bonding. It's not as much pressure, things of that sort. I mean, is that how you see the road in this case?
I think, I've never been, even as a player and a coach, playing on the road never really bothered me. And I think these girls will be fine. I think a 3-hour bus ride to and from the field will definitely help with bonding. And our girls they're a fun, a little bit crazy group of girls, and they have fun, and I think it'll be great for them. But I don't think that they're bothered to be on the road. I think we really tried to keep their focus on the game, and the game knows no home field, the game knows no visiting field, the game knows no past results, and the game doesn't know that we were 4-8 in the district. If we play the game the way that we know we're capable of playing, we could play in Abingdon or at home or in New Jersey somewhere, and it'd be okay. So I think for us, it's definitely not. Some groups, I think it can be mental. But for us, it's really, I think we'll be okay. I think the biggest thing is to make sure that we come out of the bus with energy, and that we can find the energy after sitting for 3.5 hours. So that'll be a test for our girls.
A couple final questions. When I talk to baseball coaches, I often ask them, does such and such a park suit your team? Because in baseball, you have, more power hitters. Sometimes some teams will play small ball. But in softball, just from my experience, at the high school level, it's more small ball than it is, just rip-roaring power hitters. Does the field dimensions or nooks and crannies even really matter to a softball team, or is it pretty much, the same for both teams, if you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are some fields, when their left and their right field line and corner are 180, 185, that can significantly have an impact. Here's an example of that. Liberty's left field fence is 180 feet, 185 feet, I believe, and Alexis, in our championship game against Westburg, Alexis gave up a home run that Liberty was over the fence, but in our field, we're at 200 feet, it would have hit the fence, and that's the difference in a home run and a double. So, it can, but really, Alexis has given up 2 or 3 home runs this whole season, and we have only hit 2 or 3 home runs this season, so it's inches. For us, it's really not that big of a difference, and for us, it's 60 feet in turn left, and we're not worried about the dimensions of the outfield fence. Your backstops can make a big difference too with pass balls and ball pitches and stuff like that. But we haven't really played on any fields aside from Liberty field that really have that significant of an impact on our games. So we're not too worried. I'm not too worried about that. Although I've never seen Abingdon's field, so who knows? I have no clue what to expect going into tomorrow.
Does the lack of experience concern you at this point in the season?
The lack of our playing experience?
Well, I mean, and the fact of, let's say that, good Lord willing, you get past Abingdon on Tuesday, you're playing at Radford Friday and Saturday. You girls haven't been that far yet. I mean, does that worry you, or is it kind of, I don't want to say exciting, but because I don't know if that's the right word, but, we're all in it together, so to speak.
Yeah. What's interesting? I I don't think that we have even really grasped how big this moment, how big that is. I think, we've been one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, and we've really broken everything down to the point where I don't really think my players understand the magnitude of how big it is. And I think that that's been really good for us. I think, when our girls feel like they have something to lose, or when they feel like they're supposed to win, we play tight and we press, and everything literally goes wrong. And that's really what hurt us in the district. We felt like we were so much better than we were playing, and we were forcing plays on defense and forcing our swings, and we ended up just, collapsing. And so, we're keeping it really light, and we're excited to be playing, and the top line too, because we're not just happy to be here. We are absolutely not satisfied just making it to the quarterfinals. However, we know that this group has to stay light and has to stay fun and has to stay really just focused on here and the now and staying in the moment and not thinking ahead of ourselves, because that's what got us into trouble during our season. So I think your mentality has to shift and change depending on your group, and this group has to just really stay light and focus on the moment. And I think some kids can't. But the more that they have to in these situations, I think the expectations will absolutely change, and that mentality will shift a little bit. But for us right now, we are focused on Abingdon tomorrow, and it's one more game, and my seniors don't want to stop playing, and we're going to fight to keep playing every game. And, it just depends on the group, but that's the group we have this year.
Coach, best of luck to you not only tomorrow, but if there is a Friday and Saturday as well, and we will talk to you down the line.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.